Cuba Gooding Jr. just turned himself in connection with this alleged groping case in New York City.
Walked in, you can see the crowd all gathered there, walked in with his attorneys to the sex crimes unit in Manhattan, and he will be arrested. He's going to be fingerprinted. They'll take a mugshot, and we expect he is going to be booked for forcible touching. It's a misdemeanor.
And so he says, we got him the other day, we put this on TMZ Live, if you saw it. He said, look, it didn't happen. And he says the surveillance video will clear him, although at the time he hadn't seen it.
Right, but his attorneys saw it on Wednesday, late Wednesday. In fact, after they saw it, they felt like he didn't need to turn himself in.
And they were backing off turning himself in because they wanted to go to the prosecutors and convince them this case shouldn't go forward.
Right, but that did not happen. Prosecutors never answered, so they, I think, did the only thing they could do, which is turn himself, because if they didn't, they certainly would have gone and arrested him. So, and he didn't, I'd imagine that it's not a good look. It was better to walk in with your attorneys, and that's what he did. So he will be booked for this, and we will see what the DA does with it. But it's a lot is going to hinge on that surveillance video. His attorneys saw one thing, but we're being told that obviously police feel otherwise.
So, well, it's interesting to note, I mean, the surveillance video is going to be very, very important, but one, it's not going to capture everything, it may not capture all the moments, and two, even if you don't have video, you could still have witness testimony, so they can still build a case even without a video.
So my God. So we should remind people of exactly what happened. So he was on Sunday, he was at this bar, the Magic Rooftop Bar and Lounge in New York City, hanging out with some friends. Later in the evening, at some point, a woman says that that Cuba Gooding reached over and groped her breast, and that she went to security. She complained about this, and that there was this. Now, this video is not the altercation. We don't know that any of these women here are the alleged victim. And she went to security, and there was a big altercation. Security had to separate her from Cuba Gooding Jr., and then he left shortly thereafter. She called police, called 911. Police arrived at the club, but he was gone by the time they got there. So
the one thing I want to say is, having covered, I've been a reporter for 100 years in LA, roughly. And we've had so many cases where there is video, and the video ends up not telling the story. I mean, it sounds weird because you think, boy, the video is going to show everything. I have seen case after case after case in LA.
A complete part of the story, the beginning, the end.
Right.
It very rarely does it exonerate or completely damn, like we saw in the case of the biggest probably case where we had video of something.
Rodney King.
Yeah. Anyway, I wonder though, what about this specific video makes them feel so certain that it lets him off the hook? Like they seem pretty adamant.
That's what his attorney said.
Yeah.
And look, without having seen it, I don't know. You're right, Van. I mean, he was so strong about it. It makes you would think that he's right. Like, why would he go again? Because there's video. Why would the attorney say something so strong, knowing that the police are going to see it?
There could be a million reasons, but one of the. I don't want to get all crazy here, but there's a.
Now you're making that decision.
Yeah. Well, fair point. Okay, that's a fair point. But there was a famous director, and this concept of Rashomon, where people from different vantage points can look at the same thing and see it totally different. So you could look at a video and you can deconstruct it in different ways, and it well could be that the police see it one way and they see it a very different way, and they're looking at the same thing. Again, I've seen this over and over and over again in these cases. So it may well be exactly that, as simple as that.
Hi, this is Mark from Atlanta, Georgia. This is very unfortunate for Cuba Goodings, to be, attacked this way. I really feel that he should be exonerated, and hopefully this video shows that he didn't do anything that was, negative, and I wish him well.
Well, we should say, by the way, when we get the video we got of Cuba Gooding Jr. when he was at LAX flying back to New York, he did acknowledge, he said, look, if this woman feels a certain way, we should allow her, she should be heard. He was not at all saying that, she had no right to say whatever she's saying.
But he did say he didn't do it.
He does say he did not do it. And he said that there was nothing that could even be misconstrued as groping.